this little guy here, notice how he's kind of got his head down there and he's not paying really much attention. When you're teaching a youngster to lead, don't let him follow you. Like if I walked out in front of this horse, he'd follow along just perfect, right? Like if I get in front of him, see, I'm not leading him anywhere, he's just following. We want to make sure we can lead this horse, not just have him follow us like a dog. Always make sure that you teach him to move away from you, okay? Lots of people think, oh, how cute it is, he wants to stand behind me all the time. This little horse here probably only weighs 700 pounds, but I weigh 150. So you can imagine if it came down to him running me over, what kind of a chance you'd have at that. See, every time you go to pull him along with you, that's when he stops. So no, this horse doesn't lead, but he will follow. See, when he's getting his head real low there, okay, see, now he's just getting stiff all the way up, all the way through here. Okay, that's why when you pull him, see, he's not turning his neck. He's got his body stiff, which he's just resisting the movement. Now, I want him to move away from me, so I step into him a little bit, but never try and get right in front of him. Now look at his eye and look at what he's doing with his mouth. All these things are indicators of how they're reacting to this stuff. Notice when he's following you, his ears were up and boy, he thought this was a good game. Now that it takes a little bit of thinking and work, he's not so happy with us. So you can see in his face and in his ears, in his mouth, the reaction. If you pay attention to what they're telling you here, he's not happy, but he's not mad enough to really fight with me yet. The reason we're just going back and back and side is because we're taking him off his balance. Okay? If we try and fight him on an even level or push him around on an even level, you're not going to win. But I can pull him off balance and make him step over. Then when he's starting to move around a little easier like this, then just try and take a few steps forward. But stay at his side. Don't get out in front of him. That was a few steps where he did go forward, so that's pretty good. Now, you're not going to change this little guy's attitude or get him to lead just perfect all at once. So all I ever do is I'll just take the lead rope off right now and let him go. Now notice he isn't following me anymore. He just kind of wants to drift away and be left alone. Let him think about it. Go to your next horse. Now this horse has been probably handled. a little bit. See, he gives pretty good. Again, make sure that they go away from you. Now this horse would weigh closer to 1,000 pounds. Well, by an old man's simple math, that's about 8 times bigger than I am. So if you want to walk into a bar, pick out somebody that weighs 8 times more than you do to fight with, well, you're welcome to that. I'd just as soon see you do a little bit of work like this. It'll alleviate a lot of bruises later on. Again, always first thing is make sure they learn to move away from you. I'll point out one thing, because this is the start of how you're riding these horses, right? You notice how stiff his neck is, and once he bends that neck, you see how stiff he's holding it. He's trying to take his face away from us. Okay, he can't turn very good, so he's not real comfortable. If you control the neck of a horse, you control everything. The way to tell if a horse is real relaxed is if you can bend his neck. Not have to There you go. Now watch as I bring him to me. Now he's going to be stiff. Now if I step beside him here and I make these circles a little tighter, see what he does with his head. Anything to resist giving me his head. Now we're in a bit of standoff competition here. He wants to see if I'll give up. You watch what he does now. See how stiff his front legs? He set his front legs. He's determined he's not going to move them. You don't have to jerk at him or anything else like that. Let him pull at you for a little bit. It isn't going to hurt you. There you go, see? Now, you can fight him in a lot of ways, but it's easier to use the balance against him. Now, see, he's mad. He's not going to come forward. That's all right. Just take them from side to side, get them off their balance. Now, once he starts to follow along here, oh, you can't come back yet, buddy. Now, he's not too overly sure whether he ought to be listening to me at all here. There we go. And just when he's done something good, turn him loose for a bit. It's all of about 1.5 minutes, 3 minutes worth of work. Leave him alone, go to the next one. Okay, shut it off. Does that make any sense?